Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to my second channel video. This is everyone's series where we talk about geography and the world and stuff. And let's be honest, maps are a great way to learn about the world and stuff, but sometimes just looking at a normal map can be kind of opaque, so you need a little bit of information digestion, and that's where maps like this can come in to teach you that more people live in the red area of Canada than the blue area, which is basically just saying Canada's a really huge country and most people live near the US border. Wow, look how many there are living there in fact. And maps like this are really great to help you learn more about the world. There's a whole subreddit called mapporn which will teach you about those various things, but there are certain trends that come up over and over again on the mapporn subreddit, and that's why we went to the shitty mapporn subreddit about a year ago now. People really enjoyed going through the worst maps, kind of making jokes about stuff, and I figured, given that a lot of people learned about that subreddit from that video, I figured it'd be fun to show off the mapporn Circlejerk subreddit. So for instance, we've got things like, oh, isn't it fun to see maps of Europe colonized them? What about if we saw a map of Europe if Europe colonized it? Because you know what? When countries are drawn along natural boundaries, they usually use mountain ranges or rivers, but when countries are colonized by foreign powers, you know what? They want to divide it between themselves and they just draw a straight line. Hypothetically, if we looked at a map and we looked at, say, the United States, we saw how many straight lines there are. Look at the United States-Canada border. This thing is so straight along the maps that are most commonly used that if you actually were to go in a straight line in real life, the most direct point between those two areas, you'd actually have a line that's this curved north of it. And we can look at like the Canadian provinces, the American states, the Australian states. Look at this. Western Australia is literally, yeah, we'll just draw a line across the continent and call that a good day. Or a good day, am I right? Haha, humor, am I right? But yeah, with that said, let's just mention that Europe being colonized by Europe would be a lot more square. It'd be a lot trickier to manage and there'd be a lot more wars, but you know what? Europe with more wars, what could go wrong with that as an idea? From the Bosnian war criminal. So that said, yeah, we're going to be going through the top from the past year on the mapporn Circlejerk subreddit, so you can see things like map of the world, but all countries aren't touching one another to practice social distancing. And this is a map that shows that, you know what, we need to keep our distance, so let's just do it. Everyone's always saying reunite Pangaea. You ever think that maybe Pangaea was a bad idea? Maybe if every country was an island, things would be easier. And there actually is a tiny bit of truth to this. This is a map that is very much just joking and being like, ho ho ho, social distancing countries. I think a map of the world where all countries actually were spaced apart on islands, maybe I'm saying this as an island dweller myself, would make certain things a lot easier. I mean, we have boats, we have planes, we have easy ways to get across from place to place to place, but it would make a lot of things like the systems that make governments and immigration blah 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 blah, blah mildly easier. So wouldn't it be worth all of the splitting up and economic ties that we lose as a result? I think definitely. Anyway, with that said, let's move into the third map here. If it wasn't for France, Russia and Britain, you could sail a straight line from Austria to Greece. If it wasn't for France, Russia and Great Britain, you could wait. So what they're saying right there is by breaking up Austria-Hungary in World War I, we would be able to go from Austria to Greece. But right now, sadly, you check that same map and you're like, oh, so it's still a straight line, right? No, that straight line goes, as you can see, through several countries. Honestly, if it weren't for Yugoslavia, you could go from Austria to Greece going via literally one country. Isn't that crazy, actually, that even, like, in 1990, there was one country between Austria and and Greece? But even more interesting than that is the fact that if it weren't for those darn meddling kids in World War I, then this map would be possible, and this is by far the best parody. How does it not have more upvotes? I thought you'd have more success on history porn Circlejerk if there was one. Anyway, with that said, let's go into the fourth map from the mapporn Circlejerk subreddit. How the United States would look after the Louisiana refund. So, the Louisiana purchase, it just makes sense that, like, at some point, they're going to ask for a refund. Who wants to deal with all of this territory? And so this is what it would look like if they gave it back. And this raises a good point, right? Like, one of the weird things to me, whenever I've learned this in history, is like, how did X country just buy Y land from someone? Like, Alaska was bought for a few $1 million from Russia. Louisiana territory, the thing of this very map was bought from France for a hilariously low price. It's like, who just gives up territory that way? Who would sell a part of their country? You wouldn't see that in the 21st century, would you? Like, if someone offered, if I was Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and someone was like, we'll give you 50 billion for, like, this island right here. which probably gonna upset the Scottish that I say that. You're not, maybe, you know, if you offered me Skye, I think is the island, or Oban, maybe. If you offered me 50 billion for it, I'd be like, well, what are you gonna use it for? Oh, good things? Sure. You wanna drill for some oil or something? Not my problem. I'll take your money, you know? Like, I feel like countries should sell territory way more often. Like, for instance, Northern Ireland, whole issue in the UK, right? You know, why don't we just say, hey, here's the deal. We can't just let you have it, but write us a check. Or, you know, why don't we just offer to buy Ireland as a whole? You know, this is why British people aren't allowed to be on the internet, because we propose solutions like that. Why can't we just buy more land from each other? Be like, you know, we've bought you. You're now citizens of X country as opposed to Y country. Would be a great idea. Like Iceland would make a great part of the UK. Would expand the EEZ. Would stop with the COD wars and all that sort of stuff. And all we gotta do is drop them a check for enough money that they're willing to trade their sovereignty for, and I think that's a genius idea. I also think it's a genius idea that apparently this was too aesthetically. Oh, I've clicked this map before. So this is a map of Europe, but made with emojis. And honestly, if they did this like legitimately by hand one day, they did a pretty good job. Like it does reflect Europe somewhat. I think it under or over represents Scandinavia. I can't decide which. Something's wrong with Scandinavia here. But otherwise, they did a good job of showing how many how many flags are required to show each country. And it's kind of crazy that, like, oh yeah, the UK takes 5 flags, whereas Spain, as you can see, takes 8 flags, and then the Netherlands takes just 1, whereas Belgium also takes 8, and then Austria's 2, and Russia is this. Russia is so many flags that I genuinely can't count. Is this a good like reminder that like, did you know Russia is big? Is that, like, even if you just look at, like, European Russia, as they have in fact done in this image, it's that always fact that, like, oh yeah, if we take away 2/3 of Russia's territory, Russia is still enormously big. It's not just a big European country, it is a massive European country, like, up to there, like, bigger than any other one, or any combination of 2 put together. And then also, there's another 2/3 of it that just goes all the way to the east, until it almost touches America. Vaguely does via the land bridge or ice bridge or whatever happens there sometimes. But you know what doesn't happen in America sometimes? This next map, I'm just hoping these segues work. That's how this whole second channel works. You know what, second channel don't care about if the segue works, because if it wasn't for the UK, France, Switzerland, Italy, Montenegro, Albania, North Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman, India, and Sri Lanka, you could sell in a straight line from Ireland to Australia. You know this, I'm glad that the Bosnian war criminal is back again with man, you know what, this guy really loves his subreddit posts. I'm assuming there was a lot of posts on the mapporn subreddit of like, if it weren't for X country, you could sell in a straight line from X to Y. You know what, it's crazy because the route from Ireland to Australia is actually not that much. Again, like I know they're making some other point, but isn't it crazy that from Ireland to Australia, it's not that far off the line if you go without obviously crossing over land via the United Kingdom, France, Switzerland, Italy, Montenegro, Albania, North Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman, India, and Sri Lanka. If you didn't have to go overland via those countries, via boat, you can see Ireland's like, oh, over here, up around there, through the Suez Canal, via the Horn of Africa, or what it's called, and then like pretty much follow the line almost straight directly there. Isn't that crazy? Is that just me that's realizing that right now? Is anyone else thinking that like, oh yeah, for across the world, it's very close to a direct route via boat. And they, you know, like obviously if they went over land, crossing via the United Kingdom, France, Switzerland, Italy, Montenegro, Albania, North Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman, India, and Sri Lanka. Obviously going over land via those places could save a little bit of time, but it's kind of crazy that the boat route is not that much more indirect than the plane route, and that is something you might not have known. By the way, just as a fun fact, if you were to take a plane from Ireland to Australia, if such a direct flight existed, sadly only London in Europe has direct flights from Australia, you do actually fly over the United Kingdom, France, Switzerland, Italy, Montenegro, Albania, North Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, India, and Sri Lanka. So I bet you didn't know that fun fact. But what you do know, hopefully, is a map of North America with the first letter of each country labeled. So like Canada, the United States, and okay, you know what? It's CUM with a little U because this is part of the United States. What makes me sad about this map is the lack of Hawaii inclusion. I mean, you know, like, first of all, there are more countries down there. Like, where's my Honduras? Where's my Belize? Are you leaving them out because it doesn't make a good joke? And apparently they are. So, you know, this is... So, you know, also, these comments, this is a weird subreddit, you know? At least with the terrible map, at least with the shitty map porn, you knew what you were getting in for. You knew what you were seeing with the contiguous 41 states. Wait, which 41, which states are missing? Do I have to find out? Like, okay, are there any? Nope, there are no states missing here. If there are states missing, I can't see them. Or are there states now? Just, you know, what? Are there 41 states here? Or am I really just not seeing them? Are there so many forgettable states that I can't even check very quickly? I feel like Nebraska's not there. Is that correct? Yeah, Nebraska is missing, and so is I feel like a state down here somewhere. Yeah, there's definitely a state between Virginia, Maryland, and New York. Somewhere in that ballpark, there's probably a state missing. You know, America's confusing. The fact that you can remove 7 states, and I genuinely can't tell, is a testament to many things. Many things. Anyway, with that said, this is gonna keep me up for a while, but you know it's not gonna keep me up for a while. I need to read the comments. Are there actually 7 states missing? So both Dakota. The Dakotas are gone. Sneaky. Alongside Delaware. Of course it's Delaware. Kansas, Nebraska. New Mexico. I got Nebraska. And Pennsylvania. Of course, okay, I did spot Pennsylvania. I just can't articulate myself well enough to mention it. Because I guess the borders are changed. How did they do that? This is a, like, XKCD, good job. But you know what isn't a good job? Is this next map porn Circlejerk map. Because I went back to the old subreddit. Because you know, that was fun. That was a little circle jerk. That was a terrible map problem. Whereas this is just like a joke that I feel like I've missed. Map of Europe, but for some reason it's overlaid. Actually, I like this. This is a map of Europe, but in counties in America. See, this is like artistic. It's dumb. There's no purpose for it, but it looks beautiful, right? People who do things like this, I want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate people who do weird things with their creativity in ways that most people wouldn't appreciate, but that I personally appreciate. And maybe I've just described how art works. But what I haven't described is this next one, world map, except it's fair and uncontroversial. It's red and blue everywhere. Kurdistan and the Holy Roman Empire. You know, I live in Kurdistan now, which is fair enough. Iceland is halfway between Kurdistan and the Holy Roman Empire. I feel like, you know what? Iceland clearly worked out that if they could make money selling their country, they could sell it to 2 people at the same time, get double the payments, and, you know, to Kurdistan, the Holy Roman Empire, you guys just got both played. And, yeah, the world is so much better. This is this is a great map. Also, I love that there's no data for, for Greenland. As always, lovely little typical thing. The United States, if it were colonized by Europe, and, I was waiting for a couple of seconds, like, oh, there's something wrong with Michigan, right? Or there's like, you know, something felt a little bit up, but like, oh, the joke is that the United States was colonized by Europe. Although I would argue that the western part of the United States is colonized by the United States more. You know, they took like native land or like Spanish land and they colonized that. So arguably that's not correct. But this is what the United States would look like if it were colonized by Europe. Such a fascinating thing to learn about. Thank you for that. Coagulous. Also, map of Europe colonized, it looks like that. I feel like, you know, Europe is a more aesthetically pleasing place when colonized by Europe. Why did we not colonize ourselves? Fellow European friends. We missed a beat there. What we did miss a beat with is the most common languages by state with a twist. Most common language other than Yiddish or Spanish. And, oh, because it turns out English is the most common language in every state. And, at least once you remove the Yiddish and Spanish, the 2 most common languages. They don't even speak American. England won a culture victory ages ago. Just one more turn now. I'm just saying, it's true. You know what? England, what's going on with us these days? Something about car parks in Kent, am I right? But you know what's way more exciting than that? The fact that I'm making this video and people from all over the world are watching it. I was going to leave this for like another video, and then I thought at the start of this, like, I'll just throw it in this video, midway through this video. You know, what is structure that you talk about so much? You think this video has to follow a linear point and we have to get somewhere? No, I'm just chilling on my room, enjoying maps this evening. So I'll show you a little fun fact. So we go to my analytics. You can see how December's going pretty well. 5,000 people subscribed, and there's a big holiday boost to revenue. And also a lot of people have been watching my videos recently, like, they're exploding. Thank you for that. But an interesting thing is if we go to my audience, you can see how over this month, people from a different country watch my videos more than my people from my country watch it, which is crazy because we should have less in common, but yet we do have more in common. You can see how also, though, the third most watched country is Czechia, a country that speaks Czech first. I think Slovak is probably the second most common language, and then they speak English. But because English is so widespread, they found my video. But in case you're curious, like, to account, how are Czechs your third largest audience, despite being a country of about, it's less than 10 million people in Eastern/Central Europe? How does that happen, you might question? How are there more Czechs watching than Canadians? When Canadians, there's more of them, and they speak English natively. And the answer is a really fun one that a lot of people don't realize. But when you make a video about a country, people from that country, like maybe narcissistically you could say, watch that video more. If we check the Czechia video, we can see that, like, oh yeah, if we see over the last 28 days, views just started exploding. And when views on this video started going up, Czechs started watching this video more. You can see, if you look at this video, the demographics are Czechs by 71%. People from Czechia are having this video recommended to them at a 999% greater rate than before. And as a result, some of those people are choosing to subscribe and watch our videos. But even when they don't, they count in my analytics. And so if you are watching this video and you're from Czechia, you know, let me just say, hello, Czech. Wait. Let me just check if there are any subscribers from this country. Okay, we've lost them all now. I did my best. But yeah, just fun fact. Did you know? More viewers from Czechia. But the fact that, like, I'm speaking this language and you guys from all over the world are understanding me, culture victory win, I think you'll find. And with that said, let's go back to the map porn Circlejerk. Today I learned my thumb can move in a straight line from the unsubscribe to leave button if we don't get some new jokes on this. Oh, they're saying there aren't enough new jokes. Jokes. You know, I guess it's called the jerk. You know, if you don't know what Circlejerk is, allow me, your geography teacher, to mention that, because that's what I officially am, to mention that, like, well, on the internet, in real life, imagine a lot of people all doing nice things for each other in a big circle, and now imagine imagine that with opinions, like, oh, you like this thing, I like this thing too. That's normal. Oh, you think that Greenland should die? I think Greenland's right there. That's how I got that. You think that Czechia is great? Oh, I think Czechia is great too. How about we post articles about how wonderful they are? So, like, for instance, if you check out the coronavirus subreddit, people will always be like, wow, Australia and New Zealand did so great with their border closures, ignoring the fact that, like, people couldn't leave within 5 kilometers of their house for a very long time. Or, like, you know, like, people will focus on, like, a specific area over another area because it's the Circlejerk to do so. When you get a collection of people with shared interests, you have to fit into those shared interests, or you don't fit into the group. And when it comes to subreddits, that's bad, and that's why there's a map porn Circlejerk, because people buy into this on a much higher level. And yeah, there we go. Next up, we have Madagascar, Gladagaskar, Sadagaskar, out of. How is this even a map? How is this a map? You know what? I'm not down with this. You know what I am down with, though? This is also not a map. Many people don't realize it, but Chile is actually so long it could entirely cover the distance between the Earth and the Sun. You know, this is technically a map. I didn't realize, but it is actually a map of how long Chile is. It's a lot. If there is a country that can be described as a long boy. Speaking of long boys, by the way, wow, it's December. And I know no one, in case you... Actually, I don't know how many people see my logo on this channel. Like, if you look in the top there, it's my face. But look, there's a product that I have had made for this month. They're being made over the next 2 months, but they're being sold one time this month. And if you want one, It's cute, it's huggable, it's 20% off, and it's available at the link I probably forgot to put in the description, but you can find it if you look it up, and it's so cute. I love this thing, and you should love it too. But you know what you shouldn't love? Chile. You know how Chileans are. Unlovable monsters. Speaking of unlovable monsters, next up here we've got, we're going for all the top 25 by the way, evolution of coronavirus spread in Europe. And then it's a blank map. Is it a GIF? It's a GIF. Oh. Okay, so where's... This seems pretty real so far. Oh, no, it's a... I'm dumb. It's a map of the Roman Empire. I mean, like... I guess they're set... You know, even though, like, I should have guessed because, like, it started in Rome rather than Milan, the fact that, it almost seems like civilization radiates out from this 2,000 year ago decision has led to so many things that radiate to this day. I wonder what the world would be like with no Romans. I would be willing to bet if it weren't for Romans and the climb of civilization that came along with it, when the climb of colonialism and bringing other countries into that world order, then China would be less developed than it is now, and therefore there would be less global trade, and much more specifically, probably less deforestation because they wouldn't be on such a expansion. Therefore, there would be no COVID-19. You're welcome for that theory. So yeah, if it weren't for the Romans, then I guess it wouldn't have spread. Next up, we have the one Namibia solution. So what if, instead of, you know, Israel trying to deal with its problems, we combined Israel and Namibia? Easy way to get everyone what they want besides literally anyone. Cecil Rhodes would approve. Step 1, fill in the Suez. That's a good point. You know, why don't we? You know, isn't it messed up that we literally dug a line in the continent between Africa and Asia? Messed up. More people live in the red area than the blue area. Hey, this is a map I literally just showed you. So the 1,000 map porn users, after seeing the 187,456 map pointing out the population density varies throughout certain areas. Yeah, that's one of the things you definitely see on the internet. Like, I like Reddit, but the reason a Circlejerk happens there is, like, people are like, wow, this is interesting information, give it a quick upvote. But when you see, like, 30 of them, you're like, yes, it is very clear to me that more... It's like, every time you look at an election map, it's like, oh, do you know that people who live in different areas of density vote different ways, so the map always looks like this? Do you know that people tend to live in areas where other people are because we tend to rely on humans for most of our needs? Most people, especially if you're watching this on a computer, you require an internet connection, which requires an internet service engineer, it requires electricity, and at the bare minimum on top of that, you probably need some food or something. Therefore, you tend to congregate with at least 3 or 4 other humans, assuming you only use those 3 services, and you probably use dumb services like me. I got someone to make some lobster rolls, all the ingredients for it, put it in a box, and then send it to me. You know, I wanted that to be within distance of me so it could get to me the next day, and I did, and that's why I live in an area where lots and lots of people do it. In fact, if you look at Europe, I wish I had a population density map. The biggest city in Europe is right here, and it's so big, but even though it has 15% of the UK population, arguably higher, living in like just this little area, it takes up less than 15% of the area, which means by comparison, the rest of the UK is less populated and arguably the rest of the world, but that doesn't mean that it's not that. I mean, like, therefore people live in different areas, but it is still interesting because it's an easy entry point to say, hey, more people live in the red area than the blue in these areas, right? It's like, oh, yeah, because population density. It's an easy, simple guide to tell people that for the first time. It's just that subreddits tend to go over the same information that is popular over and over and over again. In fact, let's see if we can find another red versus blue map. Like, you know, more people live in the... Oh, I literally can't. COVID case... Okay, this isn't red and blue. Did you know more people live in the green countries than the yellow countries? Actually, wait. I bet it's more people live in the yellow countries than the green countries. You know, let me know in the comments down below. I'm not doing any effort for this video. This is a Reddit video. You think I'm here to give you like a, you know, deep thought, meaningful insight? No, I'm just here to milk the internet for free content. All while saying Vietnam strunk, countries with cars in space, countries that haven't lost wars against Vietnamese rice farmers, countries that have lost war against Vietnamese rice farmers, but also do not have cars in space. You know, I would like to mention that Vietnam should also be on this list. Vietnam should very much also be on this list. They have very much lost the war to Vietnam, and should be, can you inform us how you got data from Western Sahara or Greenland? You know what, why is there data there? It's a good point. But yeah, good job, America. I'd argue America lost their war with Vietnam too, though. You know, I just wanna throw that one out there. Anyway, with that said, oh, it's clever because technically speaking, they lost the war, but this is if they have both. It's have lost the war and don't have cars in space. So having cars in space overwrites the yellow thing. Clever way of biasing a map in your favor, huh? Top 12 states to live in, indicated by yellow. See, this is funny. This is jokes. This is how you make humor, internet. This is what you do. Map of Bermuda Triangle, made from 5 to 500 edges. 5 to 500 edge. Map of the Bermuda Triangle, made from 5 to 500 edges. I don't get it. It certainly is a triangle, because it's from 5 to 500 edges. Nope. I guess because it's an edgy map. Nope, don't get it at all. Map of the US, but every state is Nevada. I think I saw this on Twitter. I don't know why someone did it, but I think I have seen this map. As someone who was living in Nevada semi-recently, I lived in Nevada, and let me tell y'all that it was a delightful time. But let me also say that, you know what, why is every state not in the Union not Nevada? I mean, California is kind of doing some inappropriate things to Nevada right here, and Texas is a little big, but like Hawaii is perfect as like 5 Nevadas, so what's not to love right there? We've also got 4 more maps for today. Oh, this isn't a map, this is, oh god, please stop. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna, okay, you know what, POV, you're a body of water between 2 land masses. Someone's drawing a line between you, nice. Most accurate glove orientation? Glove orientation? Globe orientation? Misspelled. Okay, you know what? Wait, it's all Bosnia? Always has been. You're not sure? Why not? Makes as much sense as anything else. Europe, but with the wrong font size. Iceland, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Russia, Scotland. Okay, you know what? This is, every map should look like this when you zoom in. Rather than doing what Google Maps does, where like, oh, yeah, they make the font smaller as you zoom out so you can actually see it. No, every map should just be a mess. You shouldn't be able to read any of the things going on. Why can I? Why can I, internet? So we've got one more map to go through today, and then the Circlejerk must end. I've enjoyed hanging out with you this early Christmas, but I've got one more map. Africa, but every country is named after its position relative to Sudan. You know, is this person like, it was 1 month ago. You know, that was more recently in my video. I'd like to be like, you know, well, did they have the same thought I did in the same time I did? Because like Sudan, South Sudan, I mentioned in a recent video, South Sudan, really bad name. Everyone's like, no, South Sudan's a great name for that country till you can't. Like people really defended the whole like, you can just call it Southern South Sudan or like Southern Sudan. It's so easy and not illogical to people. So what we got right here, we've got Africa, but it's Sudan, South Sudan, East Sudan, North Sudan, OG North Sudan, West North Sudan, West Sudan, West Sudan, West North Sudan, Northwest North Sudan, West North Sudan, Southwest North Sudan, West North Sudan, West. Oh man, I'm gonna need to zoom into this map. West Southwest North Sudan, West Southwest North Sudan, Southwest North Sudan, Southwest. You know, you might think, Toycat, are you just gonna read all of these out? Yeah, South. Okay, let's go South Sudan. Then there's South Sudan. Then there's Southeast Sudan. Then there's East Southwest South Sudan. Then there's Southeast Southwest South Sudan. Southeast Southwest South Sudan. Then there's Southeast Southwest South Sudan. Enclave Sudan, as well as Southeast Southwest South Sudan. You know what? This is a great map. Why are we not doing this? Like, I mean, East, Northeast, East Sudan. Why? Like, Iran is such a controversial name. Why not East, Northeast, South Sudan? You know what? Island Sudan number 3, Island Sudan number 1, which is 2 islands. Island Sudan number 2. I'm loving all of this. Portuguese Sudan, Spanish Sudan. This is quite the map, and this is one I'd like to end on. But what I wouldn't like to end on is 2020. You know, usually I only do a few videos a month on this channel. What I want to say is I'm very grateful for how this year has been. People have clearly enjoyed the return to Geography of Toy Cat after like a couple months away there in September. And, you know, I had a few plans for like videos to record in person, and a few of those didn't go so well. But this year is going to be pretty interesting. I mean, I genuinely have no clue what the plans are for 2021 as far as this channel is concerned. So I just want to say, for anyone who's concerned, like, so what's the future of this channel, Toy Cat? Definitely Geography of Toy Cat. What does that mean? Does that mean in person? Are you going to do some flight and some fun country stuff like you usually do? I genuinely don't know, but I'm looking forward to spending it with the delightful community that we fostered. Like, something I find interesting is when you're, you know, like, on this channel, we have a very niche little area of the internet, but I love seeing people who share this interest with me. I love the fact that I just went through a map that just said, I spent 3 minutes reading out southeast, southwest Sudan, and like the fact that I'm surrounded by people who also somehow made it to this point in the video and clearly enjoy that too. I want to say I'm thankful for that, because you know we don't have Thanksgiving in the UK, so I have to be thankful at Christmas, and that's why I'm also thankful that hopefully you know, actually, you know, I don't care if you buy it. I just like that it exists. Don't buy one. Show me who's boss. Who am I? Putting ads in video. We saw how much money you made, Toy Cat. It showed up. You made $2,000, and you still think you want more by selling us a plush? You monster. Money has changed you, man. And I assure you, money will not change me in the slightest. If you think the video quality will go up just because I have more money to invest in it, no siree. Things will stay equally bad on this channel, because changing is bad, and we should always try to not change. Let's try to be the same always, just like Sudan thought they could do until South Sudan split, and just like South, North, East, West Sudan thinks they can do until that happens to them. Anyway, with that said, thank you for watching. Hope you'll enjoy. And as always, second channel, I care slightly more every day. But that's changed and that's bad, so second channel, don't care. Bye.